Howdy, my fellow treasel people. What you're looking at here is the latest in the development work on the Charlek project. My CNC machine has been lovingly hand making the various parts for this little thing. Well, I just kind of sat around drinking beer. So we have us a kickboard here that helps to keep some of the noise from the engine away from the operator. Up here we have a controlium panel, 2 outlets. So you've got AC, so that's your A and that's your C, so you can get AC from that. Various control features. You'll notice the control panel on this is really simple compared with my wood gasifier, because charcoal gasifiers are so much simpler by nature. So we have a good old-fashioned air and gas controls and a simple electrical control panel. Now what's cool is that if I change my mind and I want a different control panel, just push this out, I can simply pull that out of there. You'll notice it sits in a recess, and I can simply make a new panel, put new things in it, and simply press it into place. Naturally, of course, these will be screwed down so the vibrations don't shake them out, but you get the idea. In the front here I've extended the starter rope for the engine so as I can start him from the front while manipulating the valves. Vroom! Well, okay, it will do that when I fix the engine. Going around the back of the controlium panel, I've managed to integrate the plumbing with the actual panel. So what we have here, let's get into position with the camera here, is my version of an air filter. I purchased a couple of small engine air filters, and my CNC machine lovingly made up this frame, this plenum chamber, which is screwed to the back of the kickboard. The idea is that the 2 filters admit air to the plenum chamber, which in turn presents it to this delivery point here. I need to get me some more of these bendy bits. That's a scientific term for them, bendy bits. So I can make the connection between the air filter housing and the mixer. But the idea is a plastic poop will run from here to there so as to admit air to the system. The gas from the gasifier will be admitted here, and the mixture will be delivered from this down to the engine. I've got this in here at the moment to stop sawdust and other stuff from getting into the quanta, as it's already slightly boogered. We don't want to booger it up anymore. Going around the corner, the exhaust from the engine is delivered to this little muffulator, and from there it's delivered around the corner and underneath the gasifier to the base of my fuel dryer. And from the fuel dryer we're able to dry out the fuel here. Plus this is also a great little seat. It gets quite nice and warm, so you can sit on that on a cold day. Then the output of cooled gas is then delivered through a pipe to the nozzle here, like you're meant to do with charcoal gasifiers to help cool the reaction and make them more efficient. This is where I'm actually having some problems with this, and I'll need to work on it some. Is what's actually happening with this thing is that by the time the exhaust gets to here, it's actually quite cool and moisture laden, and when I run this for any amount of time, let's get that out of there, you can actually see a bit of rust down there. There's a little puddle of water forms in there. So looks like I've got something a little bit skew with in the build. It could mean that I have to take this high technology muffulation station off here and have a direct feed from the output of the engine to that point there. We'll see. That's just one of the little things I've got to do to get this working the way it should, and I guess that's typical of any development process. Little things will go wrong, but all in all I'm pretty pleased with the way this thing's working. It's actually turning out quite nicely, and you know, once I develop it to the right point, put a handle on here for example that works the same way as this one does. It's a pulling handle, steering to, and when you're done with it you simply release it and a magnet holds it there to stop it from flopping around. I figure something similar will end up on this. So as the handle attached to there will rest here somewhere, pulled in place by a magnet. A system yet to be built and defined in any sense of the word. What else can I show you about this little thing? Probably not much. It's as simple as can be, really. It still amazes me just how simple a charcoal gasifier is. And I've probably over-engineered this. But since I want to be relying on it to make electricities and to convert old charcoalium from the other gasifier into electricities, to keep my beer cold, very important, one must have cold beer. And perhaps lights also, and television and other things like that, in a home that is not on the grid. You know, it's kind of ironic. The power from this machine will end up running this machine, which will process the fuel for the wood gasifier, which will in turn produce electricity and charcoal, which will become the fuel for this, which while it's running will be drying the fuel for the other gasifier. Could it be that I have a symbiotic relationship between neighbouring gasifiers? You never know. Okay, boys and girls and fellow addicts, fellow wood gas bug neck nip victims, enjoy. Cheerio.